Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back again live on Radio Apnewaz. Please do try to contact us if you can. If you can't, please do listen carefully to what we have to say. And, we're here to, advise, and we can't force anyone to listen to us and or listen to our opinions. We try to give the best information that we can, that's available, and obviously it isn't marked with like whether it's not pro Zionist or pro uh, American or that kind of news. So this is like more independent local news that you are listening to, and yeah, so it's nice to be here again with my co-host Abdul Jabbar. So my name is Amr Hussain, and we're going to on to our second subject today, topic, shall we say, uh, regarding the far right and pro-Palestinian marches. So what we've seen is in London yesterday. It shouldn't be date specific, but yesterday was 16th of May, and yeah, so there was two marches. I think they were about half a mile from each other, and they were relatively peaceful. Level arrests, nothing major happening. Loads of videos on social media going around with various things. There's some loads of things to see. It's interesting to see both sides of the story, and we've got United Kingdom, which probably had the police estimate to be around 60,000, and for the pro-Palestinian Nakba march, it was uh, just over 20,000. So we've got different conflicting figures, but yeah, so it did occur, and actually they were saying the United Kingdom march was actually down. Previously, it was 150,000, and this time around it was less. So that's interesting to see as well, and how things pan. Whether people are protesting by doing protest votes. We've seen a rise in the far right, and where we belong is a different story. This is following up from the topic we had from reform. So what happened on these marches? I think it was relatively peaceful. Do you have any more information?
Yeah, so what I got, I've been watching what Tommy Robinson was saying at his Unite the Kingdom march or rally, protest, was that he was telling his followers to prepare for a battle of Britain. Also, he said register to vote, because if you vote, whoever, whichever reform or this party or that party, quite a few, parties that are really far right. And he's talking about mainly that the Muslims or the Muslims are the problem, and he's been accused of racism, and a lot of these guys were convicted.
Yeah, can I just say in the past, obviously, he had used the P word. So he has been racist in the past, and I think he's probably got away with that. But he's got a criminal past, which obviously I just tried to interject there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So this Saturday, you mentioned about the figures that were there, 20,000 at the Nakba Day commemoration, which was 78 years ago when the Palestinians were slaughtered, genocide began, and Palestine began the ethnic cleansing by the Zionists who were expelled from Europe, and they were told put onto the ships and sent to Palestine. So that was regarding Nakba, and this Nakba basically means catastrophe. So what is going on today is a continuation of the destruction and the killing and the massacres that were never stopped. They did not stop for a single day. If you look at Gaza, you know, they basically wiped the whole of Gaza out. They didn't care for children, they didn't care for women, they didn't care for the old hospital, school. So it basically goes against any form of international law, their own laws which prohibit targeting of civilians, such as water, electricity. Stopping that means a war crime. War that comes under the war crimes, and obviously the leader of Israel and the government is responsible for this genocide, and they should be brought to account. And they have been charged with as war criminals. I think it's the ICC, which is the International Court for. So they basically.
And I think nothing's happening because obviously you mentioned the war criminals and whatnot, but nothing's happening because obviously we got the backing of the superpower, United States of America, which is aided and abetted this genocide, and we're seeing a kind of hopefully there's some reduction, but it looks like there's a full takeover of Palestine from directly and indirectly from Israel, and they are the power in the region, and obviously they're allied with other Arab nations, neighboring Arab nations. So which kind of means they on the right, the neighboring Arab nations should be saying it's wrong, and obviously we've obviously seen from Iran, nobody is protected. The main beneficiary of protecting state is Israel for America, and people they should be aware of that. But we can't have this genocide, especially in this day and age, right? It's absolutely wrong. But coming back to the actual march, all right. Obviously, I think previously we saw a lot more racism, a lot more dangerous figures some were banned from entering this march.
Yes, 7 people, is it? 7 people that were banned?
So I think they're mainly from the US. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the names, we'll mention the names in a bit.
Yeah, but I think these people, obviously, they're dodgy people, including Tommy Robinson, who are getting funded by mainly from the US. So this is all foreign funding. This is not from the UK, and they're getting funded from like Nigel Farage is getting funded for the Philippines, for example, and the US and so many other countries. And believe it or not, now the United Arab Emirates have come into the mix, and they are funding Tommy Robinson and others. So they are buying them to the UAE, and I think that's mainly to do with their political games. Games by mistake, but their games and their agenda, which is to go against some of the to ban Muslim Brotherhood, and like they've banned other organizations in the UK. So that's their main aim, but they don't understand that the Muslims in the United Kingdom may suffer positive funding. They're not funding Muslim organizations, they're funding far right organizations who are saying it's okay to burn the Quran. And I think is there anything else that you?
Yeah, just quickly want to mention the 7 people, the Home Office banned 7 far right speakers ahead of the United Kingdom rally on May 16. This includes Joy Manarino, she's an American commentator, Ada Luch, Spanish activist, Eva Valadingbrock, Dutch activist, Dominik Tarsinski, Polish MEP, Philip de Winter, Belgium politician Valentina Gomez.
I think we had the Polish, I don't know if that's the same person, who was live on air. So he came they banned him, but he came live on air. So it was a live at the rally. So I don't know if that's an offense or not, but yeah. So he actually was live on air.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and yeah. So what do you call on social medias? There's a lot of pro, a lot of against, and there's a lot of good people as well. I don't think we should paint all, you know, white people as sympathizers to Tommy Robinson. That's not the case. But I think there's other issues that are affecting how people, for example, why people are going towards the far right. Because I think obviously United Kingdom is not getting any richer. It's getting poorer, and yes, what they call when the locals see that asylum seekers are given so much. Um, well, I'm calling them asylum seekers. They call them migrants. So we've got. I think there needs to be a line drawn somewhere, but that shouldn't affect the people that have come before that and who have worked who have been here for the families have been here for 80 years, 100 years, and who have contributed to this country. And when there was a need, there was a need. That's why,
Yeah.
for example, our families are here.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that they need a scapegoat. So the Muslim community, they see as that they can pick on. Before it was the Jews. Before that, you had the Irish. Before that, you've always had like the communists. They were persecuted. Now it's Muslims that are seen to be the scapegoat. So the elites who are at the top, they're trying to pay or to use the immigrants as they're taking their jobs, they're taking their what do you call it? So they are the ones that are taking these benefits, and that's why you haven't got enough money to house the homeless or feed your families, or cost of living crisis. This is not. This is not because of immigrants. This is because government after government has come in and not being able to get the economy right and give people opportunities. So it's not. Immigrants are actually hardworking people who are paying and building this country, for the last 50, 60 years after the Second World War. They brought Windrush generation, from the Indian subcontinent, wherever they could find workers, they brought them here, and now they're still hardworking. There's so many doctors, nurses, so many people working, that if these immigrants or so-called immigrants were to be removed from this country, the economy would take a deep dive, and the economy would be the collapse. It would collapse, and you would have no one to work. People will struggle. So we see that people came to this country. They worked in the factories, the mills, so they were able to build, most at the same time. Their community groups were built, and there was obviously some of the media, when they highlight certain communities doing this, like grooming gangs. They call them Pakistani grooming gangs. They don't mention the religion or the nationality when it comes to majority of the crimes that have taken place by other communities. So this is discrimination. The media uses it to claim, to say, oh yeah, it's a collective responsibility of this community, which is not. I mean, people have been living here in Bradford for for such a long time. If we get to find out somebody is doing wrong, we tell them to stop, and we will have these people without the knowledge. They're not going to tell everybody what they're doing. So it's the job of the police and job of the schools and ourselves as a community. If we see something wrong, we need to do something about it. And it's vice versa. If there's things happening in other communities, they should speak up and admit that what they're doing, what the grooming that's taking place is on a larger scale than what we think.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the word scapegoat. I think normally that's referred to people or peoples that are weak. And I don't think Muslims in any way form are weak.
No.
And believe it or not. And why do you think they are scapegoating Muslims? Second thing, obviously, I think we're going to end soon. Second thing is we've got funding, UAE funding the far right, for example, but we've got Saudi Arabia and others who funded organizations in the UK in the past. Can they not fund other organizations? Are they not allowed to, or are they scared to? What's the matter? There's plenty of billions floating around with the Muslims around the world.
The community has, look, these governments are not going to fund, to help the Muslims. Some of them have helped in the past, but now, if you look overall, Muslim community has worked hard in this in UK. They worked 12-hour shifts. When they came, our forefathers, they came. They built. They gave donations to set up mosques. They set up community centers, halal meat. So many things that
they
they
built
were
up
able
the
to
base
do.
for us.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, we have money. Muslims have money, lobby groups and that kind of stuff. And if they were to lobby, they'll lobby the far right. But what I'm saying is, why are they not putting money into these organizations? Is it for the self-interest?
Because you got to look at these countries. They are kingships. They are dictatorships. So they don't want to help. The Muslims, because they're more interested in getting away with what they're doing. So why should they help Muslims if what they're doing wrong? If an imam or if mosque they build it and or community centers, they don't want that. They want to remain on their thrones, so that they. I mean, the reason is, like you said, it's selfish. They've got control of the resources and they don't want to lose that. Why? Because people, here in this country, they can speak freely, while in the Muslim countries, you have complete, what's the word, ban on people trying to oppose the government. There's no political differences allowed.
I think when there's organization groups set up in the UK, they are easily closed down because of funding issues. I think mainly, and obviously we know a few organizations that have been banned, like Hezbollah has been banned. A couple of the organizations have been banned. They've got once their funding is finished, they can't operate. It's difficult for them to operate. And we've got Muslims like Muhammad Zia Yusuf, who is donating to reform. Then we've got is it Lord Ali who's funding to Labour. We've got these multi-millionaires and what do you call? But we've also got billionaires. We've got one in the UK. Obviously, and maybe that person. Well, I think now we got two. I think so. The owners of Asda, the owner of Bestway. Even though we don't give free advertisement, we normally charge for that. Yeah. So these owners, local. They're not what they're doing with the money. I'm just thinking. Obviously, they must be doing philanthropy. They must be doing thingy. What do you call? So and we got multi-billionaires around the world, including some of the presidents of Pakistan, Prime Minister and President of Pakistan. But we don't see any funding coming in from these so-called rich countries.
Yeah, so it's basically what I would say is that
Are they scared to donate into that? Are they scared to have a donate into a pro-Muslim
they do donate.
platform?
Some of the countries do donate, but the ones that they have built and donated to, are the imams free to criticize or to tell people, that what is going on is wrong, and this is what we should do about it, because Islam does give you solutions.
But I understand that imams will probably do that on a local, very local scale. Will have little impact. There might be a couple of imams now, one from Birmingham, one from Bradford, probably that are influential. But even them, we've seen some surprising things, sometimes. So we can't really have them as our, guardians or leadership. But they should speak up against this, and also they should speak up. There should be an organization where they can continue. Whether the organization itself is disbanded.
It's disunity, and also, like you mentioned, why are they not being funded, or why are they not talking, allowing them to talk, how to do local issues as well as an ummah, what kind of situation we're in. Like you're saying, if they're not doing it, we need to speak to them. The community needs to speak to them and sort these issues out. And all we can do is, continue speaking the truth.
I think we know a couple of organizations, like I won't name them, but who are struggling to kind of go off the feed. I won't name that organization, but some people are trying to set up Muslim organizations, but they're failing. And anything else you just have?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
I think that's about it. With if you've got anything to say, I will be eagerly to hear what you say. But it's interesting to see the levels of funding and what's happening around the UK, and who's sponsoring, who's paying for this. You should be surprised that the Muslims are funding the far right. This is quite interesting. But anyway, we'll leave it as that, and hopefully may Allah guide us all. See you soon.
Amen.